The first rounds punch through the fiberglass 3 seconds after the engine cuts. No warning, no muzzle flash, just the sound of metal tearing into composite, then water rushing through holes that shouldn't exist. Petty Officer Second Class Martinez is already on the deck. He doesn't remember dropping. The twin .50 caliber is spinning left, but there's nothing to see, just darkness and the sound of vegetation moving. The river is 18 feet wide here. The canopy blocks the moon. They're in a place the briefing map showed as off-limits, a red zone marked hostile waterway, no penetration authorized. They entered it 43 minutes ago. The Mekong Delta doesn't have front lines. It has 3,000 miles of waterways, most of them unnamed. Canals dug by hand over centuries, tributaries that flood and recede with the monsoon, rivers that fork and reconnect until the map becomes meaningless. The U.S. Navy calls it the Rung Sat Special Zone. The Viet Cong call it home. By August 1969, the war on these rivers has settled into a rhythm. Patrol boat, river, PBR units run insertion missions, supply interdiction, and reconnaissance. Fiberglass hulls, water jet propulsion, speeds up to 30 knots, armed with twin .50 caliber machine guns forward, a single .50 aft, and an M60 on each side. 4 men per boat, 3 boats per patrol usually. Tonight, there are 4 boats. That's the first irregularity. PBR 131 is the 3rd boat in the column. Coxswain James Hartley is at the helm. 22 years old, 2nd tour. He's been running rivers for 14 months, long enough to know the good channels from the kill zones, long enough to know when an order doesn't make sense. The mission brief came down at 1830 hours. The intelligence officer used the word urgent 3 times. A high-value target, confirmed NVA cadre, spotted moving through a canal network 12 clicks south of their normal operating area. The canal has a name on the map, Song Tram Bao. The crews know it by another name, the Throat. It's called that because it's narrow, because the vegetation hangs so low in places you can touch both banks at once, because boats that go in don't always come back. Hartley asked why they weren't sending helicopters. The intelligence officer said the canopy was too thick for visual acquisition. Hartley asked why they weren't waiting for daylight. The intelligence officer said the target would be gone by then. Hartley didn't ask a 3rd question. You don't get to question orders twice. At 20:45 hours, 4 PBRs leave the base at Nha Bay. The night is overcast, no stars. The air smells like diesel and rotting vegetation and the particular wet earth smell that means the monsoon is close. They run the main river at 20 knots, standard spacing 50 meters between boats, running lights off. The only illumination comes from the instrument panel and the faint phosphorescence of the wake. The lead boat is PBR 147, commanded by Lieutenant Davis. 8 years in the Navy, first tour on the rivers. He's been in country for 6 months and carries himself with the confidence of someone who hasn't lost a boat yet. The 2nd boat is PBR 109. The 3rd is Hartley's boat, PBR 131. The 4th is PBR 89, with Coxswain Reynolds at the helm. Reynolds is 3 weeks from rotation home. They make the turn into the canal network at 22:17 hours. The main river is 200 feet wide. The first tributary is 80 feet. The second is 40. By the time they reach the 3rd junction, the waterway has narrowed to 20 feet and the trees have closed overhead. The sound changes when you enter confined water. The engine noise stops dispersing. It bounces off the mudbanks and comes back louder. You can hear your own wake slapping against the shore. You can hear vegetation scraping the hull. You can hear how far sound carries. PBR 131's forward gunner is machinist's mate 3rd class Jerome Williams. He's 20 years old, from Georgia. He keeps his hands on the twin .50 calibers, but he hasn't charged them yet. You don't chamber around until you need to. The noise gives away your position. The boat's rear gunner is engineman 2nd class Anthony Martinez. He's the one who'll hit the deck in 3 minutes. Right now, he's standing at the aft .50 caliber, scanning the banks with night vision equipment that turns the world green and grainy. The 4th crew member is radarman 3rd class Stephen Cole. He's crouched amidships near the radio, monitoring the frequency the other boats are using. Radio protocol in hostile water is strict.
No transmission until contact is made. The boats are running in near total silence now. Even the engine noise seems muffled by the vegetation. At 22:39 hours, the lead boat signals a turn to port. The canal forks. The left branch is the one on the map, the one marked red. They take it. The canal narrows further. 18 feet now. The boats are 12 feet wide, 3 feet of clearance on each side. Not enough room to turn around. The only way out is forward or reverse. Hartley feels the hull brush vegetation. It sounds like fingernails on metal. The column slows to 5 knots. Any faster and the wake would swamp the banks and give their position away for a mile. The night vision scope shows movement on the left bank. Martinez taps Hartley's shoulder and points. Hartley nods. He sees it too. But movement doesn't mean hostile. It could be an animal, could be a farmer, could be a Viet Cong soldier watching them pass, could be all three. The boats continue forward. The canal bends right, then left, then right again. The curves are so tight the boats have to slow to a crawl to make the turns without scraping.
The lead boat passes it without slowing. The second boat does the same. As PBR 131 approaches, Hartley glances into the dark mouth of the side channel. He sees a reflection, just for a second, something metallic catching the faint light from the instrument panel. Then it's gone. He doesn't report it. Reflections don't mean anything. Could be a fuel can, a piece of scrap metal, anything. But the thing about combat is you remember the details that didn't matter until they did. PBR 131 passes the side channel. The fourth boat, PBR 89, follows 30 seconds later. They continue deeper into the canal system. At 23:04 hours, the lead boat signals another stop. This time, Davis's voice comes over the radio. End of navigable water, turning around. Hartley feels a small release of tension. They're going back. The mission was a dry hole. No enemy contact, no intelligence, just 4 boats in a place they shouldn't be, turning around to head home. The lead boat begins the 3-point turn. In a canal this narrow, it takes time. Forward, reverse, forward again. The engine noise rises and falls. PBR 109 waits. PBR 131 waits behind it. And that's when the sound changes. Martinez hears it first. A mechanical noise, distant but distinct, coming from behind them, from the direction they just came. He turns, lifting the night vision scope. "Engine noise," he says quietly. "Hour 6. Hartley keys the radio. "PBR 89, you reading engine noise aft of your position?" Reynolds' voice comes back immediately. "Affirmative. Unknown origin." The lead boat is still turning. The process can't be rushed. If the hull grounds on the bank, they're stuck. The engine noise behind them grows louder. Williams turns the forward 50s around, traversing the guns to face aft. Cole is already pulling the charging handle on the port side M60. "Could be civilian," Hartley says, but he doesn't believe it. Civilian boats don't move through hostile canals at night. The engine noise is close now, maybe 100 meters. Then it stops. Complete silence. Just the idle of their own engines and the sound of the lead boat still maneuvering. Martinez is scanning through the night vision scope. He sees the canal behind them, the dark water, the overhanging vegetation. He sees the side channel they passed 3 minutes ago, and he sees the bow of a sampan emerging from it. "Contact!" Martinez shouts. "Sampan, 100 meters, directly astern." The first burst of automatic weapons fire hits PBR 89. Tracer rounds draw red lines across the water. The sound is distinctive, the fast hammering of an AK-47, maybe 2. The rounds punch into the fiberglass hull of the fourth boat. Reynolds is already spinning the wheel, trying to present a narrower target, but there's nowhere to maneuver. PBR 89's guns open up. The .50 caliber makes a different sound, slower, heavier, each round a concussive thump. Muzzle flash turns the canal into a strobing nightmare. Then the second sampan emerges from the side channel. Then the third.
The Viet Cong aren't fleeing, they're attacking. Hartley shouts into the radio, "Contact rear, multiple hostile boats, PBR-89 taking fire." Davis's voice comes back, clipped and controlled. "Continue turning, get these boats pointed downstream." PBR-109 is trying to turn now too, but in a canal this narrow, you can't turn fast. Each boat has to complete its maneuver before the next can begin. And the sampans keep coming. PBR-131's aft gun opens fire. Martinez is squeezing off controlled bursts, aiming for the lead sampan. The 50 caliber rounds tear through the wooden hull. The sampan veers left, collides with the bank, tips. But the other two are still coming. And now Hartley can see muzzle flashes from the banks. Small arms fire. The Viet Cong on the sampans weren't alone. They were the bait. The ambush was waiting. Williams traverses the forward 50s and opens fire on the right bank. The twin 50 calibers shred vegetation, cut through bamboo, send mud and water spraying. Something explodes, maybe a fuel can, maybe a grenade. The flash illuminates figures moving in the trees. Cole is firing the M60 port side, short bursts to conserve ammunition. The belt feeds smoothly. Brass casings rain onto the deck. PBR-147 has completed its turn. Davis is shouting over the radio, "All boats, reverse engines, back out of the canal, now!" But PBR-109 hasn't finished turning yet. It's sideways in the canal, blocking the way. And PBR-89 is still taking fire from the rear. Reynolds' voice on the radio, urgent now. "Hull breach, taking water, need immediate..." The transmission cuts off. Hartley looks back. PBR-89 is low in the water. The engine noise has changed, sputtering, flooding. The boat is sinking. "They're going down," Martinez says. Hartley doesn't hesitate. He throws the throttle into reverse. The water jet propulsion screams. The boat shoots backward towards PBR-89. Williams is shouting, "What are you doing?" "We're not leaving them." The Viet Cong see what he's doing. The fire intensifies. Rounds hit the water around PBR-131, sending up geysers. One round punches through the windscreen. Another hits the radar dome. Another ricochets off the forward gun mount. Hartley brings PBR-131 alongside PBR-89. The fourth boat is listing hard to starboard, nose down. Reynolds and his crew are already abandoning ship, jumping across to PBR-131. Cole grabs the first man. Williams grabs the second. Martinez keeps firing, suppressing the sampans that are closing distance. PBR-147 has completed its turn. Davis is shouting over the radio, "All boats, full reverse, extract now!" The three remaining boats back down the canal at maximum speed. The sampans pursue, but they're slower. The gap widens, but the canal is still narrow, still winding, and the ambush wasn't just at one location. The banks erupt with fire. Muzzle flashes from both sides, automatic weapons, the distinctive crack of an SKS rifle, the deeper thump of a B-40 rocket launcher. The rocket screams over PBR-131, missing by inches. It impacts the water behind them and detonates. The shockwave rocks the boat. Williams is firing continuously now. The twin 50 calibers are glowing red hot. Martinez has switched to the M60 because the aft 50 caliber has jammed. Cole is reloading magazines, passing them forward. The crew from PBR-89 is pressed flat on the deck. One of them is bleeding from the shoulder. Reynolds is trying to apply pressure with his bare hands. The boats scream backward through the canal, 15 knots, 20. At this speed, if they hit something, the hull will shatter. Hartley's arms are shaking from the vibration of the wheel. He can barely see behind him, just the faint wake and the darker mass of the canal banks. The lead boat, PBR-147, reaches the junction where the canal widens. Davis swings the boat around and accelerates forward, heading for the main river. PBR-109 follows. PBR-131 is still in the narrow section, still taking fire, still reversing at maximum speed. And then Hartley sees the fishing weir, the one they cut through on the way in. The bamboo poles are still there, drifting in the current, just below the surface. "Obstruction!" Cole shouts. Too late. The water jet intake sucks in a bamboo pole. The engine makes a grinding sound. The RPM drops. The boat slows. Hartley throws the throttle forward, trying to clear the obstruction. The engine screams, but the boat barely moves. They're dead in the water. The Viet Cong are closing again. He can see the sampans rounding the bend behind them, maybe 30 seconds away. Martinez is still firing. Williams is still firing, but ammunition is finite. They've been in sustained combat for 6 minutes. The ammo cans are half empty.
Davis's voice on the radio. PBR 131, status. Fouled propulsion, can't maneuver. Clear it and catch up, we're not stopping. The lead boats are already disappearing around the bend ahead, their engine noise fading. PBR 131 is alone. Williams stops firing. He looks at Hartley. We're out of time. Hartley doesn't answer. He's staring at the engine controls, trying to will the obstruction to clear, but the RPM isn't rising. The bamboo is wedged deep in the impeller. Martinez has stopped firing too. He's counting rounds. 15 left in the belt, maybe 20. Cole says quietly, they're coming. The sampans are 20 meters away, figures visible now in the darkness, rifles raised. And then Hartley does something that doesn't make sense. He kills the engine. Complete silence. Just the sound of water lapping against the hull and the distant rumble of the other boats escaping. Williams stares at him. What are you? Get down, all of you. Flat on the deck, now. They drop. Hartley drops with them. The sampans approach. Hartley can hear voices now, Vietnamese, urgent, commands being shouted. The first sampan pulls alongside PBR 131, 15 feet away, 10 feet, 5. A flashlight beam plays across the hull, across the gun mounts. Across the deck, the beam stops on the crew, lying motionless. 3 seconds pass. 5. 10. Then the flashlight clicks off. A voice says something in Vietnamese. The sampan's engine revs. It pulls away. The second sampan does the same. And the third. They're leaving. Moving past PBR 131, heading deeper into the canal system, chasing the other boats, the ones they can still hear. Hartley waits. 30 seconds. A minute. 2 minutes. Then he stands up slowly. Martinez stands. Williams. Cole. Reynolds and his crew. The canal is empty. The sampans are gone. Why did they leave? Williams whispers. Hartley doesn't answer because he doesn't know. Maybe they thought the crew was dead. Maybe they were low on ammunition too. Maybe they had orders to pursue the lead boats. Maybe they just made a mistake. Start the engine, Reynolds says. Let's get out of here before they come back. Hartley turns the key. The engine coughs, grinds, catches. The RPM climbs slowly. Whatever was fouling the impeller has cleared or shredded. He eases the throttle forward. The boat moves. Sluggish, but moving. They navigate the canal in the dark. No running lights, no radio, just the sound of the damaged engine and the crew breathing. At 0041 hours, they reach the main river. PBR 147 and PBR 109 are waiting 100 meters downstream. When they see PBR 131 emerge, Davis signals, "Follow us home." The 3 boats make the run back to Nha Bay at full speed. They don't stop, they don't talk, they just run. They reach the base at 0147 hours. The intelligence officer is waiting at the dock. He asks what happened to the high-value target. Hartley looks at him for a long moment. Then he says, "There was no target." The intelligence officer starts to argue. Hartley walks past him. The after-action report lists PBR 89 as destroyed by hostile fire with all crew recovered. It lists enemy casualties as unknown, likely significant. It lists the mission as intelligence gathering, results inconclusive. What it doesn't list is why 4 boats were sent into a canal marked off-limits, why the intelligence was considered urgent enough to violate standard operating procedure, why the lead boats continued to extract when PBR-131 was dead in the water. Hartley never gets answers to those questions. He runs 14 more patrols before his tour ends. None of them take him back to the Song Tram bow. The canal is officially redesignated as Prohibited Approach by Naval Command. Williams rotates home in October. He doesn't talk about the night in the canal, not to his family, not to his friends. When people ask about Vietnam, he says he worked on boats. Martinez extends his tour for 6 months. He's killed in April 1970 when his boat hits a command-detonated mine on the Bassac River. He's 21 years old. Cole finishes his enlistment and leaves the Navy in 1971. He moves to Oregon. He doesn't own a boat. Reynolds makes it home 3 weeks after the ambush. He doesn't leave his house for 2 months. Eventually, he starts working construction. He never goes near water. Lieutenant Davis continues to command river patrols until 1971. He receives a Bronze Star for his actions during the extraction. He doesn't mention PBR-131 in his acceptance speech. The sampans were never identified. The Viet Cong unit that staged the ambush was never conclusively determined. Intelligence reports suggest it was a local force battalion operating in the Rung Sat, but no confirmation was ever obtained. The wreckage of PBR-89 was located 3 months later during a dry season patrol. The hull was stripped, the guns were gone, the radio equipment was gone. The boat was a shell, half buried in mud. No attempt was made to recover it. The Mekong Delta claimed 250 U.S. Navy patrol boats during the Vietnam War. Some hit mines, some took rocket fire, some were ambushed in canals too narrow to turn around in. The boats were fast, the crews were skilled, the tactics were sound. But the river war was never about speed, or skill, or tactics. It was about entering places where every advantage belonged to the enemy, where the waterways were so complex that maps were obsolete, where the only way to gather intelligence was to go in blind and hope you came back. PBR-131 made it out of the Song Tram bow because James Hartley killed his engine in the dark and played dead while enemy soldiers passed within arm's reach. That's not strategy. That's not training. That's desperation. And on the rivers of Vietnam, desperation was often the only thing that worked. If you want to understand the realities of combat that don't make it into the history books, the impossible decisions, the moments where survival depends on instinct rather than orders, consider subscribing. These are the stories that need to be told. The men who lived them deserve that much.